Hi people, it's Sarkovist here, coming at you with yet another ASMR video. And I think it's been long enough since the last one to do a quick recap on what I mean by ASMR if you haven't already heard of it. So essentially the main ideas behind ASMR is to try and relax the audience. That's the general idea. There are loads of ways about doing that. There's loads of different methods, and I'm choosing to do the softly spoken method. There's also just the whisper method. Some people like crinkly sounds. That's quite specialized, but because I also want to of course incorporate gaming, as this is a gaming channel, I'll just be talking fairly softly into the microphone. I'm quite close, so I apologize for any distortion effects. I'll try and get rid of that. But showing you this game, and this game is Cities Skylines. But before I get into this, I just want to talk about ASMR in general, because when I uploaded my last ASMR video, well actually my first one, I got a bit of a response to suggest to me that a lot of people already watch ASMR. So if you do know about ASMR already and you watch ASMR, feel free to let me know when you first found it, because I found it way back in 2012, and it's grown a hell of a lot since then. I think it was, at that point it was fairly big, but now it really has exploded. I think the reason ASMR has become so successful is because it really just, it appeals to like a sensation that's unique to those videos, that kind of tingling sensation. I don't really feel the tingles, but I do find it relaxing, and so I feel, after appreciating so many of them, I want to do a bit myself, and so here is the game, City Skylines. Now this game is very, very, very similar to SimCity 2013. It looks similar, it plays similar, but it doesn't have the same issues. Two major ones that people may remember. When the game first came out, SimCity 2013, you had to be online to play it. And not only that, but there were server issues, so it was kind of creating its own problems for itself. And also the fact that the cities you could build were fairly small. There was quite a confined space, and there was a gameplay element to explain that, but no one really liked it. It wasn't worth restraining the cities so much. But here you have very large areas in which you can build your city. I mean, this is a small city. I have not even begun to take up the full potential of the space available to me. This is a very young city. I've only really got one built up area, as you can see here. And I'm currently in the, cinematic view where I've removed the UI. But what I want to do is just explain to you some of the fundamentals about how this game works, and I think if I do that, you might actually have the idea of whether you want to get it for yourself or not. So let's bring up the UI. Here we go. So your citizens have certain needs, and these needs allow your city to flourish. So of course people need water, and in order to get water you can have different methods of getting it, like water towers, but what I'm using here is a water pumping station. So this extracts water from the river, and then via a network of underground pipes the water is distributed to the rest of the city. It's fairly easy to set up. It goes underground, so you don't have to worry about knocking into things. It's a very easy system, and it's one of the first systems you have to learn. Also at the top there you've got your kind of Twitter-esque thing which lets you know about your citizens' lives, and they can react to things that you're doing in your city. So another thing you need is of course power, and the way I'm getting power is fairly eco-friendly. So I've got these wind turbines. These are basic ones on the ground and these more advanced ones on the water, and as you can see I've had to build quite a lot. They're not very effective. They're eco-friendly, but they're not very effective. There isn't a big yield. What I'm hoping to do when I get some more money is to build a dam to extract a lot more money. To extract a lot more power, so I don't have to have so many of these wind turbines. They also generate a lot of noise, and noise is something that makes people unhappy in this game. So let's keep looking around. What other things do people need? Well, they need their rubbish picked up, or garbage if you're American. So you've got landfill sites such as this. Funnily enough, I've got a landfill site very close to a mall or shopping centre. Hope that isn't putting people off too much. You know, just ignore the smell, enjoy the sights. You've got a cemetery there, actually. I mean, that's quite morbid, to be fair. So, cemetery. But moving back to what the services are, you've also got healthcare, because of course your citizens will get sick, especially so if you've got pollution. So in the city I've got, well right here, I've got a little clinic here, and I think somewhere over here, yes, I've got a hospital. Very expensive, it's got a lot of upkeep, but it's you know, very effective for helping people out who are ill. You've also got fire stations, and I'm beginning to wait, am I on fire stations? Yeah, fire stations, yeah. These are very important, especially around industries, you know, like factories, because, God, the number of industrial accidents there are that cause fires, you're going to need some fire stations. That is absolutely critical. There was a time when they were just burning down, I didn't have nearly enough trucks to stop it. You've also got your police stations, which kind of speaks for itself. They just attack crime. It's quite cool to be able to trace the police cars as they go down the street, see them go out on stakes and stuff, you know, responding to call-outs. Got education, of course, very important. You can go up to a university, which I haven't got just yet. I could put it in, but I'm not planning on actually building anything in this video. I'm just going to show you things. So right here I've got, is this an elementary school? Or is it a high school? Yeah, elementary school. So you can have elementary schools, high schools, and university, and the more educated your population are, the better jobs they can do, so that's just overall better for the economy. Speaking of which, down here, with your bank balance, you can see the income that my city is making, and the amount of money I actually have. You know, you always want that to be in the plus, because, you know, especially in the early game, because otherwise you can go into debt very quickly, and no one wants that. Also, just while we're looking down here, you've got your population, number of people in your city, and the rates at which they're coming in. You've also got transport. This is something I absolutely need to invest more into. I've got a tube station here, so that, you know, there's like an underground network. And I've also over here somewhere, where is it? Maybe I'll find it if I... It's a bus, yeah, here it is. Yeah, you've got a bus station here with some bus routes for this local neighbourhood, and as you can see, there are a lot of people there queuing up for the bus. Speaking just purely to the technical side of this game, I've noticed that the performance is generally good, but inevitably it does decline as your city gets bigger, but it never gets unplayable. I mean, it was, you know, flawless to begin with. Now it's just a little bit more juddery, but it's to be expected because, I mean, there's a lot going on here, a lot, and it's a very good looking game if you ask me as well. Very vibrant colours. It's got this, I think, quite good depth of field effect when you zoom in particularly close, so you can see that while this building is in focus, if you look back there, it's slightly blurry. It's like a kind of Gaussian effect, so it's quite cool. What else is there to look at? You've also got parks, and they're essential for, yeah, so here's the park, and these are essential for increasing the land value of the surrounding buildings so that they get, higher income earners go into them and increase your economy. And you can see here an example of, because the land value has gone up, the quality of the building has increased. So that's why you can in some cases see these construction works going on. You know, I love it when it's constantly happening. You're just seeing your city get closer and closer to the clouds, which is great. I mean, I haven't got to skyscrapers yet, but you know, it's where I'm looking for. What else is there? I haven't really done much here. You've got unique buildings, obviously, you know, lots blanked out. But I do have the mall or shopping centre. I think they're just, I suppose it's self-explanatory, kind of miscellaneous buildings that just generally do good things. So there's that. Also, a cool thing is that every single citizen you see on screen has a story. They're going somewhere. They're not just flavour. You know, they're not just people, I guess, on screen as a graphic. They are going somewhere. So if I click on someone, So we've got Jeremy Price. He's an uneducated adult, resides at, let me follow him, resides at the Middle Residence, worker at Ready to Wear Limited, going to busy corner shop. So essentially everyone has a life in this game, and you can be tracked them. Look, he's arrived at where he wanted to go now, the the corner shop. Looks a bit big to be a corner shop, but it's not technically on the corner, is it? But forgetting that, I suppose it's busy. Everyone's going somewhere. You know, everyone's simulated. They all have their jobs. If you click on a car, you can see who's in the car. Oh, okay, that's a van. When it's a van, it's usually for a business. You've got a police car there, another van, a sedan, so that does belong to someone. And look, if I click at their residence, it will jump to where they live. It's very clever. So you've got this whole simulated city with all these different things going on. And I mean, this is a small city, as I say. You know, it's going to get a lot bigger than this. And of course, people are congregating in these important areas, such as the high school. Also, an interesting thing you can do in this game is make districts. So these are just places within your city where you can create individual rules and ideas and stuff. And this is a farm district. I've called it Farmville. And see, you know, you've got all these barns, and there are certain benefits associated with different types of districts, and that's something I personally haven't seen before. You can, I mean, in other games is what I mean. You can look at your economy, your taxes, your budgets, your loans. Budgets are quite useful. So if you're noticing that, say, in education things aren't going too well, as they weren't for me earlier, you can increase the spending and hopefully resolve the issue. You know, the amount of control this game gives you is amazing, but at the same time, it never really becomes overwhelming. It's got a very user-friendly interface. It's all very intuitive. Also, I should probably just explain about the basic buildings. So you've got your residential zones as marked in green. You've got your low-density commercial zones, industrial zones, and office zones. Office zones, I think, are basically just for the higher educated, and you've got high density versions of office, commercial and residential. So that's, those zones are the bread and butter, the core of your city. And these bars down here, the orange, blue and green bars, they're there to show you what's in demand. So what I should be doing next really is building some industrial zones. I mean, I've got quite a lot over here. You have to be careful about where you place things as well, because things like wind turbines create noise, and factories, industrial zones in general, do tend to create a lot of pollution. I mean, I didn't even notice this before, but just looking here, I mean, look at the ground, it's clearly a little bit polluted, you know, it's dying up. It looks like, actually that looks like Chernobyl to me, which is a little disturbing, but hopefully that will not spread to my residential areas, which are nice and green. Apparently I've got a new building, university, I'll put that in later. So I think that's all I can really divulge that I know about the game so far. Just let me check on the time for this. Yeah, this is definitely good enough. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed this quick look at City Skylines. Maybe you know whether or not you want to buy it. Just mention off the cuff, the file size for this was tiny. I don't think it was even 2 gigabytes. I mean, a small thing to mention, but that is very much appreciated. You've got so many enormous downloads these days. It's nice to just have something download in seconds, especially good if you're using a limited SSD. So yes, that's my city so far. Hopefully it will grow into something slightly more prosperous. As always, people, thanks very much for watching, and see you next time.